compelled to feel bad as I would for anybody else because of the things Anita Among did as a human being. So with that precedence, everything that is happening to Anita Among as a human being is wrong. But because of her actions, she earned it. Because she thought she was one of them. That she ended up tramping over her own people who would eventually be somewhat in support of her or try to save her life. Anita abused even her own people from Teso. Anita Among made it that an opponent cannot even think twice about suggesting, about dreaming, about running against her. You know, if she was so confident about winning, why wouldn't she just let the other lady run? So Anita Among was in line like animals are headed to the butcher, and she saw what happened to the animals ahead of her, but she thought it was different. She thought she was different. She thought Museveni calling her my child, my daughter, my whatever, meant anything. She never learned from all the previous people. Okay? So it is difficult. Atika wachi, Lokomanita Among Loketek. Kadana apar per machalu dano. Ento chwako dano makilwoni Anita Among Terade da pien. Ikarma Anita Among tie ti loch. Manita Among nge ni joma cherry position ni meberu speaker ni. Kwogi beberu marom kagu ki berikom me speaker ni. Jomugu kwogi rwen. Jomugu kadaga kuperichani kai nea mtika tumchalu chabon. Jomugu kagu nugi tia tata. Sekandi uberu kindana rio unyo adek mau eno putie. Pian sekandi beri waipe no. Sekandi ki office me parliament kacha. Gimon ke ken mala dir lobo mero. No te moketa ye merne. Sekandi beri wai konu tie kwanu pe. Kwa neno ping, kwa peneno ping, kwa yiro ding, kwa winyulo. Sekandi uberi waipe re. Enke na Museveni mero eno. Eno we prime minister me Uganda kiloni na banjani. Uberu down ma wiye keken pero mutamu o Jemi matie makwaro lobo Uganda ki position nani. Ngena Museveni mero ena ye ketu chol dano. I position. Work position upongoro. Petere ni mero joma binu katich. I position ge. Ineno. Chwaka nita beri wai chwako le mano rie line. Chalo factory wako kan factory ne mogo no factory madon. Le yikikeru ge line kun kinyurni any line any le mena madep kitika charma kitika ngologe me yupo en chame ni wale mena mario pero motamni kai kwete doctrine meta mera nyim akelo analogy en ni pian Anita uneno kita jo mau ki position enini gu ma pegu beti beru dana dore kadaga enu ku berichani kai neno kwone beri wai bana pera ineno Anita uberi position in the matamni ende oro. Magi moke kan majoni waju ir engini tipat kom jochani. Grandis. Ma Anita worku do waila kwa diang balalo. Madana maut etani gichungi bokeri akacha Anita ubi maro nyako mani mo chung chalu nupe. Ki gwaro nyako ni diwoni ano mo. En maki abducting dana ki kelu drone ki delo dana drone ni. Ki kwanyo nyako ni mano chung pinup. Ki dilo ki teru kwane urwe nyako kong ni anadi. No mono ki chero ki wono ki timu dana tata. Ka ki duku nyako ni tek nyako ni dugu. Ki teru ka lok me wachu ngomu time. Nyako ni wachi Anita bero antina. An kom gina chung eni dong papi chung. Pedabi mero chung. Jo FDC magu chero kwane ki chero ka chono nyingi I dog gate by electoral commission. Pegu donye electoral commission bukedia. Anita Among po ye ni dana Omiere gutam pigi kengi gu etaben gu chung machalo mij maruba miyo metela. Aramu wachi amiro chung kamoni ngata miro gen abene pe kadong yet ye in made waiki mari tutwale ibi no kui 100% ayela mo kan pe ento Anita pe meti wadana ma miro chung enemy rachi. The problem with Anita was that even those who aspired as a dream of their own that God put in their heart, that Anita made sure that dream was dimmed. The lady from National Unity Platform who aspired to run for office against Anita in Bukedia. Anita took that woman in a drone in the night. They drove around with her like they do National Unity Platform supporters. I don't know if she's tortured or what. When she came out, she couldn't speak about what truly happened. All she did was hand over and say she was not going to run anymore. The FDC people in Bukedia who tried to go and register and themselves as they couldn't even get through the gate. Jo FDC people I think even on election day in Bukedia, Anita Among made sure that the gates were closed to say that they are no longer having anybody going in to vote anymore. Anita made sure that she was unopposed by force. If you're so good, let people challenge you so that we know that you're really great and you made it all by yourself. So Anita mo nano ni ngato mo kan mi arpo ya taka chung kere ibukedia kacha o chung NP kane. Anita mo po tamni dano mo kane wanigi makonywa pe kibore ni. Guak ni mo me bibere wai ni egini. Magwak bit ni dano guak be konye buchung pere. Me pe pongolo wi Anita. Ineno. Chwako Anita tek pien down chalo Honorable Segirinya Giu beru member of parliament mokarni. Anita mong me teme wachni Segirinya to member of parliament ba pingo kitika mako kitika wako beri butch pingo loka Segirinya peki nene ye peki loli ye kinen ngoma mira kitimpia wako kat ki butch Segirinya omedi kitwo maki wono Segirinya deda video ma Segirinya wai do e ye don weke nyura wai ukonya duana ubi mago ento chel ma ubi mago enini po nyut mafura kwa au nyut chel egini ki video egini madam kwana pe mada togo piano noni pedare. Sorry about that, somebody called me. Segirinya, Honorable Segirinya o merikito Segirinya Museveni order niki Mark Segirinya kitwe Segirinya MP ba maki wow private part pa Segirinya ki wow Germany o weng era boke wuni come machoni weng ki wow weng maki tuju Segirinya ki yad maki kwara ki we yala choni patado ki tuju Segirinya ki yad ma come weng no kwoto kire Makono topa ko Segirinya kitera ki wachi obone wendo maka uliting kumaini pipera mkaro kiye. Mero example la chel keken ento luteno nuba di maki marogi ma nita monka ngarimo senyo nyiko nika lokom jo mati buchi bedping 2 by bedping pay gam lok any kind nano. So I'm saying that Anita Among lived through the previous parliament with a member. This is one example of many. A member of parliament, Segirinya, Honorable Segirinya, who was abducted while being a member of parliament, tortured by the Muhozis, his private parts burned with fire, acid, whatever they could find, clipped nails with the pliers, all manner of torture, waterboarded, everything. Segirinya, all of that was done to him. To the extent that Segirinya's kidneys and liver became solid that could not pass liquid through. Segirinya was swollen from all manner of poison that was injected in him. And they waited for Segirinya to die. He couldn't. He did not die on their time. Segirinya eventually succumbed to his death. But I'm talking about a member of parliament in Anita Among's parliament. All this went on while Anita was in the big chair. That's one example, just one. Eddie Mutwe's scenario, he was picked up, abducted, tortured. Muhoozi came out and said, I have him in my basement. I'm still teaching him Lunyankole. Tortured severely. You could see the pictures. The videos will scare the heck out of you. All that happened under Anita's nose. While Anita stands with a stick like Emulalo. While Anita parades thousands of heads of cows because she feels like she has arrived and she's one of them. I'm sorry. I am here not because I am benefiting in any way to say anything about this. I am saying this because those of you who are headed Anita's way, or both and so on and so forth, you know that you are headed for the butcher, but you are just tugging along and fending off or flagging off anybody who has a different opinion than the one you have from Debalalu. Be mindful. Because when the time comes to what Anita Mong is going through, it is hard to defend her. I'm not lying to you. I'm a human being. I feel her pain. But I can tell you that because of Segirinya, because of Eddie Mutwe, because of Frank Senteza, because of Olivia Lutaya, because of Achileo Chivumbi, because of Alex Waiswa Mufumbiro, because of Kavuma, the beginning of all this, because of all the National Unity Platform supporters, those who are in the line of fire, who just were not even supporting Noop, but a child on the streets who is being sent by his mother across to go and do some business is caught in the crossfire because they're trying to raid Noop and they're trying to raid all of these things that Museveni tries to do to belittle or to destroy Noop. Anita watched. I am not sorry because of that. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I'm a human being, but I am also a human being for the ones who were tortured and gone. While Anita watched, and yet she had the powers to not give her any pity. Atika wachi an nana berni. Chunya apara Anita chalo dana ento paro mutimu gimoke ken ko beri chawani me konyu ne. Kigina dong tika te me kom enni. Pien dana moto pien Anita uberu tie kun tie ki yo me konyu gi uberu pol. Down chalo Honorable Segiri nyamo uberu MP maroma ki Anita ni. Down chalo Frank Senteza ma uberu bodyguard pa Bobby Wine. Pepe mero chu. Lumon mutoka mon pa Museveni gu goyo jali paka kumeti neko ne. Down chalo Eddie Mutwe wunu neno kita ki mako kere Eddie Mutwe ma ki wano ma Muhoozi ukati kunwachi atika gono ne atika fonyu ne ki leb nyankole. Ma Eddie Mutwe ki goyo ma peramu wa wat. Ma wane wa kaberu ma pek ramu tiato ne. Tie down ma Museveni gu ngunu tian ge oli tup. Tie down ma ki ngunu chingi la chua mani tie ki chelo wine kubercha ti US kan. Ki chelo wine ki mudugu. Jal mama ko kamera pa Bobby Wine ti US ka enini. Ikare me election me campaign mu kare kitu ki chelo wie kan ma wiyo mero elero. Rubanyo weko kubercha ni ngate ne kwa. Jami enini weo te me kare Anita Mong tie kun tie ki yo meneno ni. Kari ni dong ni Museveni gimero lodge. Enron wa ujone utimbe. Au koko tim kuman ula kong down. Unyo kari ti ineno. The power I'm saying that Anita Mong has is not entirely the power to speak or do things. Anita Mong, now that we know, was loaded with cash. Her basement or containers or whatever. Anita had the powers to move certain things, not because Museveni gave her permission, but because they were right, and she might have been protected. Because nature has a way, karma comes back around. Anita Mong no tiki chene ma pe kwanne. Kawe kwan kichi kumene pe kwan tum. Kori chene ma kide Anita no romu tich kere. Down ma tie pero Ento Anita cutting ulula medicum down come chana down to down. Of all the suffering there was, she added to their pain in sarcasms, in all manner of responses. When Joel Senyonyi spoke, she had one-liners that were just stinky because she has the power. And guess what has happened to Anita? She has faced and is facing the ultimate punishment from the same people whom she let punish and continuously torture and harass National Unity Platform supporters. Anita Among, from the time that she was, they started to raid her home. When they picked up Anita Among, she ended up in the fridge. The same fridge which the two gentlemen from Kenya who came to support Bobby Wine were put in. Apparently, there is a temperature-controlled home. I don't know if it's a basement of Muhoozi or somewhere, Muhoozi's homes or whatever, where they keep the temperature very low, dangerously low, that you could actually get hurt from being too cold and pass out. But the body has a way of warming up or creating heat, so some people survive. That's why some people can live for a certain time in the wild without dying from natural causes. Atika wachi Anita karma kichao yenyu gange kwani ti kwani kwalchana kwa ngongoni. Niene anu makigama Anita ni kitero kama Muhoozi wachi tikere ki friji. Friji anu beru kamoni ma ot moni tie ma luma buj duan deda. Ma buj ma Muhoozi gi mako manope koridano ma logo unyo dano ma tie ki mati opposition ni. Unyo chilama winyi chilam ti kunu pe yenyu. Pe yenyu chilam ti pange pingo Johnny Deck chilam deda. Makun ki wachi chao melega ngi chilam lego wan beach. Icha melega chok basement wang mo ponke down chok down mia ngwen kuluni. Down wang cha melega no ki loke ki tika timu kori lega pasilame. En make ki kule kunyo ki gene penge. Down pull down manotie ene fridge ene. No ki tika timu kori gene ene. No ki tika lega. Pien man nyuruni chilama pola dida tie kuno. Inano. Majo ma aki Kenya ni gitero kuwachi down ma tie basement pam igene I fridge pam Muhoozi cha down duan deda ti down ma no don wa yenyu ma don be watam ni ko gipe mukena ti kuno down mo guma ki go egin ma no gu wile ro no gu lokke kongu lokke ro maka ke kelu ki wa go jogi ron kwer ni gen ko chala cho ma ni mogumi ma ki ma ko Muhoozi ku ma ko nguchi tuwe Congo do ko releasing piano cho book kun book any waju kita Museveni ge kwa kere kitem gi marajuni mugumi akima okiwachi mugumi atie itengo e fridge kacha any fridge eno ma Anita Among berieni kitera Anita Among kama yang Anita Among chayo kama Anita Among wachi jopa nupti e beni. Anita Among was taken to the place that she normally did not care about when they spoke about new people being there. In the fridge, and everything that was done to National Unity Platform supporters or people of the likes, which I heard there's lots of Muslims. Hold on 1 minute. So I understand in that the fridge, the temperatures are severely low, dangerously low, that somebody of abnormal, if you have issues with heat and cold, you might suffer or you might not even survive it. So Anita Among was taken there from her house after they came and raided and abducted her. They did all manner of things to her. All manner of things you can imagine. All manner. I'm talking all the people who had somehow assumed or wanted to or would have liked to have a bit of her. All these Rwandese men, one day, everybody came and as they please. You want to use the front door, you want to use the back door for children around. Whatever they wanted to do to Anita Among, they have done. All men who are ready, if you're sick, not sick, whatever the case might be, all these Rwandese men used Anita Among in the fridge. Because you know that is what they do to a lot of the female prisoners even the male ones, because somehow Museveni believes in dominancy or sexual dominance over people or prisoners, people they hold, which is something that they exercised on Anita. If Anita comes out of that place alive, maybe she will speak. It is possible that they may discard her because they don't want her to speak. Not just speak about the things that they did to her, but to speak about the other things that they did together for the goodness of Museveni telling her, do this and that for my sake. You also know that Anita Among is the only sanctioned member of parliament at that time, a speaker of parliament at the time. And yet, Tayewa and Amongen have worked together, especially the fact that Tayewa being a Rwandese, he was the head. Anita Among just filled that position. All decisions and tricks and all of that were employed or brought to the table or executed by Tayewa, which is common. It is a common thing now. Even in the military, they will bring you a junior SFC of 17 or 18 years old. Even in the military and police, they bring a little guy. Today, you know, he's hired and whatever. He's quickly risen through the ranks. Next thing you know, that little junior person who came yesterday is the one who makes decisions for you to finally execute. As a Ugandan, you will not have power to do anything until this little guy who came yesterday says this is the way it should go, or seconds your idea. That is what happened with Anita Among's position. So it is possible that she may have come out of the fridge, but it will be a while before we see Anita Among, if we do, because of what they have done to her. You remember when Eddie Mutwe was in detention with Muhozi at Muhozi's home, they could not bring him out early until he had healed from some of the signs of atrocity, signs of torture on him. So everything they could do to Anita Among, they did. The time Anita Among came out and wrote something on her Twitter or X account saying that that she's withdrawing from the post of speakership. Anita Among was still in the fridge. They had tortured her so much. They asked her forcefully, amidst a lot of terror, to write that thing and share it. Atika wachi, manaka kimara Anita Among uberi fridge mani ma kita wachi woni. Anita Among uberi kunuma choma aki Rwanda oti komanita iyomo keken ma inromo tamune. Choma tiu kere kilong, choma tiu kere the same way duata. Ngati mo ken ma iyo mero ma tamani Anita Among mo koti ni. Cho awinyi ti fridge ludok la bonbon. Ngati mo ken ko ila yo ko ila ngo ko ila mon ko ila nga. Cho mo ke ken donya room kabani zati yeni. Kiberu kere kita yige umero. Jami makitemi kom jopa National Unity Platform mi kitemo wen kom Anita. Wen Pian Jome National Unity Platform mi kake maogi tutwale mamone kiberu kedge otata. Joma tiki silim kono pe ki silim ko tiki gonorrhea ko tika nga wen donye kono. Maki balu kom Anita makonye pe maki para ni Anita karamu kene bere po biko ento ka kwa omiero konki gwae we come muko chang kamuko manoki bui ni. Now ki were manoko ni were mo don kubedi peko no jemene wenti atata. So Anita Among tie kama ding adeda tweru bedi don ki kwanyo ki kama no ki keri yeni ento pi en come no puti ki bu ki ngongo gini peki romu kelo ne wako. Ikarma ni to chwalu message kun waju ni endong baby chung pe speaker ni. Anita uno futi fridge kuno. Mak ulega de dani ukonya umi na chimwe chwalu message. Andong pa miero bedu speaker. Gin make di Anita Among to twal ni wachi in ko iwachi wapingo Imiru kwanyu kom me beru president Uganda kany. Anita Among wachi ento imiru kwanyu kom ineno okwayo kija deda. Kun wachi ni ukonya umina chima waka wachi jo weng ni peda amiru beru speaker. Peda amiru tela moiken pa amiru gimoiken anda amiru beru dana la boy gimoiken ka amiru kwanyu kom me speaker ni beru kwany. Kipenyu ni magogo beru chware. O wachi ko ni en pe miru magogo da. Eni bolu down pien imiru ni imir ni magogo gube ka chel wek en imed NRM ki jome Eastern. Imir jome Eastern ma chwako magogo ni gumare bene wek NRM nya wa tu Eastern. Kipenyu bene ki wachi recording ma beru duong ikono ma in beru awinya nita tiki recording ma duong deda. Ma recording jami mugu ma do ma uti meki bot NRM ki kunu ma duong deda. Ento o waju ni kakitimu ki moi kome ena ye ki audios eni ki releasing ki chwalu wako bot dano. Karamana nita mong en bera tani lok mugu ma logo duanya tani karamotoka ne ki carrier speaker office ne ki carrier speaker gange ki kerum speaker wa camera ko weng ma jo pa Museveni ginena Anita Among Jimmy weng wa lok weng ma Anita Among logo ti recorded ti recording kipenyo ni pingoti ki chene mapol o wa ni chene eno ni eno emiti ikon ki NRM medo ento Anita bene ki wa ni oberu ka chulu down mapol down mo ma kila mo kana keri beno beri opposition chalo ikarman ma oginoti ka geneti campaign ki ngongo gi no inena Anita ochulu pone ne ko ochulu down katata wekwi o word mabe wek any chung kene wek ena ebet speaker ento ne teach parba we awachi ni keri wa digi money nini karuba pobi ye pobi timme pange pingo po ni angene ane Anita Among dine me beru speaker yo mo keken dan mu chama jene pa Anita duong papenduze gi anu kigulu kenyo ento Johnny wachi gube binu what bot and jo mo chama chene ki bora ni wangu be kibilwonge ko kese ni pekes matiteli ba maki waja ni Anita Among peki ngeu ka obikwo onyo peki ngeu ka obikwo ma ubeberu mabe me akela I court and gitika luor ni kagi weka Anita okaro Anita romo lok maraj magine ma weko gen nen maraj gen mu kene bene Anita romo tieto jami magubera timne gen Museveni gi weko nongo gamente pa Museveni obo nen dok maraj loyo kitatikere ni I am saying that while she was in the fridge she apologized amidst a lot of terror and tools facing her. You know, the guns were pointed at her, they were scaring her, they were raping her, they were doing all kinds of things to her. When she did get her phone to make that statement, she did it under a lot of fear and intimidation. Anita Among also denied being married to Magogo as her official husband. She said the intention of having Magogo was just to have the eastern part of the region join and be happy with NRM because Magogo is from some part of the east. She wanted to bundle it all up. They asked her why she's trying to take over the government and the president's seat. I told you this thing about Anita Among is not about the money she has. It's about the power that they think she has to become president of Uganda. That is Museveni's main problem. That is the only problem as to why Anita Among has been treated this way. I'm going to give you another example of somebody else eventually, but let me finish this. They asked Anita how come she talks negatively about the regime that she serves. Apparently, Anita Among's cars are bugged. Her house is bugged. The speaker's office is bugged. Museveni watches her like a toy, especially when he felt threatened. he began to watch Anita Among, and the Deputy Speaker Tayebwa was on top of his game with getting information where it needed to go immediately. That is why Tayebwa is back and Anita Among is in the fridge, or has just left the fridge if she did. The reason you have not seen Anita Among in the public eye is because she's nursing what injuries she got while in the fridge of Muhoozi. And she may not come back the same. You know, with a bleached skin, so many things are thinner, easy to abrase or bruise, easy to burn or tear. We just don't know what state she's in. We don't know. She denies Magogo being her official husband. Also, she denies, they asked her why she has a lot of money and audios in her office. So Anita Among apparently has several other recorded audios that she has given people to release when she does die, or if they do something to her and all of that. So that is also something that they are fearful of. Okay? There is fear that Anita Among may be assassinated because they fear bringing her to court the way she looks. They could assassinate her, or they may let her stay, but stay without being a part of anything or being seen or allowed to speak at all. Okay? They will continuously threaten her. I want to bring to your attention the previous leaders of Uganda who were prominent. Okay, Ugandans who were prominent in leadership positions, who would have become something, but Museveni dimmed their light. And as I mentioned, the speakership position, nobody has come off of that position and stayed the same or lived to their dreams, or whatever the case might be, with what they've earned as being a speaker, except Sekandi. Honorable Kadaga is not the same. As we see it, she's just wasting away every day. Okay? People like Wopakabulo, Francis Ayume, okay? People like Jacob Olanya, Noble Mayombo. Those people Museveni got rid of when he felt, and it doesn't have to be financial, that he seems threatened. Just by you seeming like people are starting to like you, or your ideas are transformational, Museveni figures out how to get rid of you. That is why Anita Among is in her position right now. What Anita Among could have done, and hopefully the next leaders are going to try to do, is to ally with other Ugandans, because in times like this, we just might be able to help. We might. Itela Madon position Madoni. Wun ko nen kong Germany ba. Ko nen kong anyimu kita jo mo kena ni tika wat kere. Unen bene ni ko kwa ma be ki dan mo kene looking gang ma wundo tamani kado oi position money don kongi peni. Pien ku perichani kaya da Nita Among ku perichani. Dan ma rom konya Nita Among ke ken ena ye His Excellency Chagulanyi Sentamu. Bobby Wine. Anita Among ku perichani Bobby Wine ayeko wachiki team kumanchi bene kipitimo. You know? At this point, Anita Among, I'm sure, is crying Bobby Wine or His Excellency Chagulanyi Sentamu. But Anita Among burned that bridge to ashes. To ashes. She could not allow the thought of Bobby Wine existing in Uganda peacefully. No, she couldn't entertain it. Anita Among no pe benaki tamwe ni noob miaro betie loboni. Eno kuberichani ngato mo maromo kwanyi neki kama enti yeni ena Bobby Wine keken petie minister mo Uganda Kenyu joba Museveni gi petwero enjo men National Unity Platform kekena yetwero konyanita mero kwolobo kade tamni indong tutwale chide nene Kenyu do atika wachi joma aki position enini mo chung mati mo neno le kwa ene ogwa le kwa ene oberu mabe chamo chene beru speaker ni mwaga madia nyimpere Kai aki beru speaker omiere gam salary 60%. No ichamu gi repeat keni retirement ko. Petie mapat ki sekandi. Down mo retiring mabela bon yela. Petie when kai retiring kuman iponi ngarmano to o ngarmano aki office mapia tamotum o ngarmano ni uberetata peneng na be kotini ni down solo wa pakabulo gini down solo Francis ayume ineno ko titi wukong Latin wa lokech babawa uminwa Latin wa Fred Lokech. I would like to speak to you about Lokech. Lokech was the Lion of Mogadishu. Praised. He did a phenomenal job. Phenomenal job. He was no terror to anyone. Not fearful at all. Muhoozi didn't care. The Musevenis don't care. When Muhoozi tells you that Lokech, my brother, Lokech, that is BS. Okay? Because the story of Lokech, which I get firsthand from Lokech's person, who was there, present when these things happened to him, I can tell you word for word that Lokech became a terror from a word that he said. He just made a joke or he made a light comment to impress a woman. That Faith, the Faith woman, the Rwandese woman who is called Faith, had an affair with Lokech. And Lokech made a sarcastic statement and said, this man you're looking at here is the next president of Uganda. That alone costed Lokech his entire life. Lokech chopa Lokech po perni ena ke waini ko por ki stool ko por bathroom ko. Lokech otopien Lokech bene kita yang no ki wai ko Lion of Mogadishu ko ngoni. Lokech o logore kun waju ni ana inena beru ni ana chala be beru president me Uganda. O waju loke ni bod dago makilwoni Faith. Mo beru dago Rwandese mati mon makilwoni Faith ni. We all will name okay. If you know Faith is other name, please share with me. Dago enuni madongu bera tata gine Lokech ki Somalia kacha. Dago ni Lokech waju ki dago ni jalwe. Ko nen kong an ni. Ana la did Uganda president Magina. President Magina, the next president of Uganda. Kun waju ben logo re. Waju merke dago la wara dago mala wara ni diga maja ana beru president. Tek dago ni winyu lipap utuki go team wa you state house. O wai ni uchwa la dege atiki lok mamira kelewu komberi chane lok kabere pe boro. Dago ni rinyo board Museveni kacha. Museveni dago ni waju ki Museveni ni Lokech a winyu ki doge mafudwa ki kaboro. Ni any be better the next president of Uganda. Museveni why and don't care leko Lokech don't kick duki tung Uganda ni. Kikelu konki awinyi kikelu igere Uganda Kenya State House kong Museveni good dole mo atata. Why Latin? Konki wadu le mo ko charu la mengo ata. Kay why ini watching o? Ni ini be better nga? Ini be better president? King age maging ni kita Lokech tie kere ma kilwoni Lion of Mogadishu ni we. Walk promote mo na ada. And nonke luon Lokech dong beru kere ko IGP ko beru nga ko ke or ko Sudan Kenya ko no ke ter ko South Africa. We look on ke don le me piano wachi loka president. Lokech dong beru ta me tam ni we do we logo ayera mo ken pe karaman futi tika le ko Lokech me anega. Ni mo dong gini ira ko wi Museveni ki wachi. Chapa Lokech dorong. Ingeni ki chero ki no Lokech gange mati on walk ki kwanyu Lokech ki bar I Lokech ki pala. Lokech o jolo chin I chin kuma ni. O jolo jami mai I chin ka o to ki chwe chwinya deda. Lokech ki wai liela Lokech inge ka down to ena ki wai down mo kana to peaceful down mo kana to ka rema deda ni. Lokech big wine or toy ten wine kuman. Maliel ba big wine piano talki tuana rem maputika dino big wine makata kiteng big wine ite wine kuman. Lokech to ma big wine mall kitty. A rem cha I'm trying to explain to you how Lokech, what happened to Lokech. Okay? Many of you know Faith. I forget her last name. Faith, the Rwandese woman who is in the military of Uganda. What's her name? If you have it, please add it here. I'm not seeing my messages. I don't know why. So anyways, while Lokech, the famously known Lion of Mogadishu, was in Somalia, okay? Somehow they had relations with Faith. Whatever happened, in the morning he wakes up and says, guess what? In a joking manner, being sarcastic, just being whatever, you know, he says, this guy you see here is the next president of Uganda. In a joking manner, very lightly, very light. He did not know that he's speaking to one of the agents of the Museveni people, one of the custodians of the Museveni's government. That same Faith woman called Museveni immediately and said, Museveni, do you know what Lokech just said? He said that he's the next president of Uganda. And that usually sets those people off because they don't want anybody else to be the president of Uganda. Immediately, Museveni called for Lokech to get rid. You know how he'll invite his people and say, well, come on, let's talk. Let's see what's going on where you are. People on different missions, come back. Let's, you know. So Lokech returns to Uganda to go and see him. The president has called. It's an order. You must attend. As soon as he gets there, he's hit or punched or whatever. Obviously, they reiterate what he said. You said you want to become the president of Uganda? Are you serious? Did you say that? He says, I'm really sorry. He apologized. Then they bounce him here and there. He's taken to Sudan. He no longer goes back to Somalia. He's in, you know, they're hoping that if he goes to Sudan, something will happen to him. Then he's sent to South Africa. He's sent here and there. You know, they're moving him into the front lines anywhere they could for anything else to happen to him. But nothing happens. He's protected or he's strong as a person anyway. So Lokech is then brought back to Uganda. That's when he becomes the IGP for some reason. So he does come back to become IGP in Uganda. Sorry, I was reading a message on my phone. With that time, you know, he's pumped to say all kinds of nonsense. It's the time that he said when National Unity Platform's people come to demonstrate or whatever, they should write their will. You know, all of that was him trying to raise the energy and faith and trust of the bosses, the Musevenis, to get their mind off him saying things like he's going to be president of Uganda. But it had already registered as a threat to this establishment. So what happens to Lokech is one day while he's at home, Faith, that's Rwanda's woman, and some other SFCs go visit Lokech at his home. They find him in the bedroom, take him to the bathroom, and slice his midsection wide open. I mean, cut across. His organs are all hanging out and he's bleeding. They take out his guts and put them in his hands and say, you want to be president? Of whom? It is said that Lokech's carcass or dead body had tears coming out of his eyes. That is the pain or the expression of pain that this man died in. This is a Ugandan. This is a Ugandan who has the ability and freedom to dream. But those people will stifle a dream that you might know that is possible for you. Just the thought that Lokech thought that he could be president and that he said it to the wrong person got Lokech killed. So any one of you who is parading here and there in positions, make sure that your position is your ceiling and you cannot aspire to be more than that. Because if you do, you are in target. But there is no guarantee that what you are doing is enough to keep you safe. That is why when no one is safe in Uganda, if one person is not safe in Uganda, nobody is safe. Today you think Bobby Wine this, Bobby Wine the other. Bobby Wine has done the best and absolute everything he could do to open our eyes. It is up to us to try to fight for ourselves, because if not, one by one, we are being led to the butcher. One by one. All these MPs today, they are celebrating. Oboth is right behind Anita Among. Oboth is a Babati thief also. We are right behind. I mean, Oboth cannot make any decisions on his own without Tayeba giving a go. Tayeba is the assistant. That is how much Ugandans have gotten used to a level that they cannot surpass. There's a ceiling there. Kumpetichawani wunjo mukene mautika yatani uti position ko rutini ni uti mabe utika nyar jo mukene maluk magang kenyu mautawani gen kongi pepi and wundo tiki position we. Diri mada ubi oi kamani tamongti ye ichawani. No ngati moy ken maromo konyu upeke. Kumpetichawani dang maromo konya nita mong enai Bobby Wine matiwa wako kumpetichawani. Ma Bobby Wine romo Kwela lock international organization watch it here down money makitika temune kuman uye nyo megonyune Bobby Wine pero mtemo gene pn down pa Bobby Wine kinero down tomorrow down mati mabuch mati national unity platform duata in KT national unity platform in Uganda ma PIB lo buch no put PIT inaugurated no put PIT national unity platform mabe pn wanga Kimaro Lina Zedriga, Chivumbi, Puti But Koperichani, Kun Kibiano Kichielo Gange in an election. Museveni or Lumonyo Biano Chielo Gangeli Pup Makinero Dalda. En Makun Gian Museveni Gian Nerodane, Kibiano Kimaro Muanga Chivumbi, Ayekiteri But Wakuberichawani, Museveni Gi. Ayo binu chielo ganga muanga chivumbi. Ento gula story ko muanga chivumbi ena yeti but kombedi chawani. Ineno. Gene dagome Western ni. I forget Mama from Western Uganda. The representative from Western Uganda. En bena ki maro belo butch. But yeah, down mati national unity platform apia uchero lemo buch karini anade wang makelemo down wang mati national unity platform gulemo buch pm system mapetiu system from 70 ma wunjo mukena lutela mukeni wang munutamani utika mabe dog wutiki immunity dog gini ni matika temekom jochani pero mo oikomu. I'm saying that all of you are in line. All of you elected members or not, or people in certain positions, you are all in line for the chopping block. You are all like animals being led to the butcher. If you think you are safe now, it is temporary. It won't surprise me if Oboth does not make it through the whole 5 years. Because as a human being, he's going to not please the other people, whether he knows it or not. He's going to offend someone. And because he's dispensable, they will do away with Oboth conveniently. At any point in time, they will do away with Oboth. Just like all of you other MPs who become too big for the grassroots. You feel like you can no longer be, in good terms with people who are beneath you. Those who cannot afford this, those who are, you distance yourself, you put yourself on a pedestal. When the time comes, you will need these people and they will not be here. Right now, I don't blame National Unity Platform for not supporting Anita Among, because we have cried, we have buried our people, we have watched torture videos and we have lost our guts. We have lost appetite. We have cried through the night. We have prayed. We've done everything possible just to save our hearts from so much pain that is caused by people in positions or people who cannot do anything because they're in certain positions. There will come a time for you people who are still there, because Oboth also stole Mabati. Surely it is not difficult for this Muhozi thing of theirs to come out and say they are also going to investigate Oboth when the time comes that they want Oboth brought to his knees. Because Tayewa is going to lure Oboth into some scenario where he may be tempted to steal, or they'll set him up in something and catch him red-handed. And there will be Oboth gone for good. Like Anita is gone for good. She did not want anybody to be MP because she did not want to miss speakership. She has missed both. Both. What's the point? Anita's constituency is one of the first ones that are going to face by-elections. Anita cannot enjoy the taste of food right now. Anita would rather be a Segrinya under 6 feet in the ground because of the pain and torture that she's feeling. Honorable Segrinya is in a better place than Anita Among at this moment. That is life. Why would you live so large that you don't think other people are worth living? Why? It is a matter of time for the Musevenis to be gone. But why would you do that as a person? Ini dana pingo de beri wai ina ideruba. Ini tamani jo mo kene makwani. Ina yechwe yoge. So many have gone to their rest. Able-bodied, great individuals, Wapakabulo, Francis Ayume, General Lokech, Nyakairima. Nyakairima, he thought it was one of them. Aronda Nyakairima was an actual Ugandan native. His demise, because they felt like he was threatening or could have been loved enough to become president, Aronda Nyakairima was poisoned in Dubai or Abu Dhabi, waiting for a transfer flight to his final destination. They sent him on a mission and sent him his assistant with poison. When he got to the Middle East on his layover, he stayed overnight, was given whatever Museveni sent them to give him. Aronda died in the airplane, and yet he walked from his hotel to the airplane and never got out of the airplane. Never. They woke him up and he could not wake up. He had not complained of a headache, not complained of anything. Aronda was gone. Aronda had began working at Internal Affairs as a minister, you remember that? And at the passport offices, which today they have given a Rwandese that office. Aronda's job was to make sure that people who qualified for the passports of Uganda got them rightfully and on time with the right demographic history needed to get those IDs. In essence, he was trying to protect Ugandan sovereignty in their immigration office, the main immigration office for passports. The Rwandese people got upset because he was not allowing willy-nilly Rwandese people to get passports. That alone earned Aronda Nyakairima his death on the Museveni's calendar. Atika wachi danuma kilwoni Aronda Nyakairima. Any better young danuma annually Uganda kikome. No tiu igena Internal Affairs a passport office. Aronda no down mara deda an kikoma ni arwata ke Aronda. Angeyu personally. I know Aronda myself. I knew him. Down my maru dana deda. Down my koni dana deda. Uno dong ena ye nero ni passport pa jo Ugandan ki yubu ma bed ki yubu kare ma miete mo pore. Jo mo kena ma ai wakani pegi no passport. En gina do don keri wi Johnny wachi jale ni na chochika tika gengu yo irwan. Aronda yerudege ki State House New Church team ki money igene Asia kacha we are people all over ne. Aronda ki miyo yat ki yo madong chika chero ki Dubai. Me chero me gu makudege me kupune ka mokene. Te Aronda doni dege ma ki Dubai. Pedocho. Pebo poko abawich. Poko gemoke ken Aronda no dong pe. Wunjo mokene mauti position ni. Unemba atika nyutubu line down tika what kere mechero kama ki ngono wigi o yeli tup atika nyutubu kono mero winyune kono degi enini kate gamente eni futie we Won wang party safe ya. Party safe. Dano makuberichani Johnny mirti gubed pe wek water jali o makke duata en won joma mo ga wudo cherni. Won joma perigamente ma poli. Pe mirti ubetie kenyu. Pe mirti ubetie. Chi wonu tamani won keru dano ki wonu dano wonu nanda na ni utamni buberi mabe. Won mau chai joma kena wonu chai joma gimoge pen utamni wonu buberi mabe la benara. O both of us unero genu teme bara Anita, unero genu teme kom Jacob, unero genu teme kom waka bulogi, unero genu teme kom gere nobo mayombogi, ngeyo en yo weng, en to tika wat kun chera way tika en mega de better part. Poor better part. Unja mo kene weng pe part. It is the same thing. Take Johnny puti lodge, au mark down my beba. Koperichane Anita among koke tuare tingom. Tuar bebe da kwa pien kwa lan maki beru kere cho mo ke ken matie tika gwakanita kunu donya ya mo ke ken koi tiki selim koi pe kiselim koi mermu berini weng donya I fridge kamanita tiye ki beru kere kita yi gumero en kina gitimi kom jo national unity platform eno mom no ki beru ket get ta no ya ki kunu mai tiki selim Kenya dan mu bale duota. Dan ma kor dan duota. En Anita enba. Diri megi. Kao tamani gemati loko nena loko piani doga duong. Sure. Neno. Obi pore kom down weng. Down mero aro. Wek gutim ki mo gukela loka. Kape we. Watika meta nyi watika meta tunka marach. Wrong direction. So, meno story pa Anita. That is all about Anita Among. She's not in great shape. But like they did with the Eddie Mutwe, when they abducted him and tortured him, they cannot present Anita Among in any court at the condition that she is. They can't. They have to make sure Anita Among is a bit more healed and looks better and feels better. That is if she doesn't die from her torture, from the torture. That is if Anita Among That is if Anita Among This is sad. It's really, really sad. It makes me I feel bad as a human being. I really do. I do. I really do. I really do. But the things that this woman has done, I don't know. Too many. Too many. Between Segrin and Anita Among, so many people have gone just because. She could have done something. She never did. Why do we have to do something now? Why? Maybe we'll have a change of heart. I don't know. Maybe this will be the Hail Mary for change in Uganda. Maybe. Maybe. Maybe we will get there. Maybe. But right now, I battle with the people who have suffered while Anita had the powers to do something. I battle with that feeling. I battle with all of that. I battle with Mama Lina Zedriga being imprisoned as a judge, as an attorney. Anita Among is the same, and she doesn't say or do. And I battle with all of that. It's hard. It's hard for me to say. It's hard. So, I want to talk about the appointment of that gentleman Okay, I don't think I'll do very much today, but I want to talk about the appointment of the gentleman to the Internal Affairs Office. The one who has stirred a lot of debate. Let me get his names.
Ugandan. One. If you're looking for a hot...
To congratulate Honorable.
The gentleman who was appointed to be the Internal Affairs Minister. So an office like that is like the kitchen of a home. An office of internal affairs is the heart of a country. An office of internal affairs is the housekeeper of a country, is the guard of honor of a country, is the sovereignty office of a country. Atika wachi office makilwani internal affairs ni. Oberu office matie la palchwin unyo kachwin lobo money ni. Office me internal affairs oberi wai jokon me lobo money ni. Maka majami magwaro gang katiki ye. Jam cham kingongo jemi magwaro gang waro nyo beri mabe. Katiki office makilwani internal affairs. Internal affairs ere kama ki UBA national ID ki UBA passport kitemi loka immigration loka nga makarwa nga madonyo Uganda ilobo en nga makar nga madonyo kartaj me word mene mangar mone tiekere ni mena ye teach pa office makilwoni internal affairs. The purpose of internal affairs is to manage, housekeep internal issues or matters. That is why it's the heart of a country. Internal affairs meaning managing whose entry and exit into the country, just so that it is clean, clear, and is how it's supposed to be. You remember a few months ago, Muhoozi came up and said that his Rwandese people are struggling to get passports at the passport office. And this makes sense that they have picked a Rwandese person to put into the Internal Affairs Passport Office to control production, reproduction of passports or travel documents in Uganda. This means, imagine all the sanctioned people of Rwanda because of the agreement that failed with Tshisekedi that they signed over in the US with President Donald J. Trump. All those agreements, all of those sanctioned people will now get passports to their fullest, to their wish. They are going to be able to assign themselves different Ugandan names. In fact, they may strip actual Ugandans of their passports, and of their names, and give them to Rwandese people of that nature. Those sanctioned people will now have access to getting whatever documents they need to go anywhere in the world, unless there's fingerprint restrictions that were captured. But what I know is that if somebody has never traveled, they don't have fingerprints stored anywhere in the world. So this passport office now is going to expressly print passports for all Rwandese individuals born, not born, prospective, late, or whatever to their convenience. And every sort of scholarship opportunity for Ugandans to go abroad is now going to be all for Rwandese officially, because they don't have to worry about travel documents. Ugandans are going to wait for passports for as long as the Rwandese wish. In fact, some Ugandans may never get passports, because once you go and register and have your NIN number or whatever, they can easily give it to a Rwandese guy or woman for their convenience. For example, the sanctioned guys, they are going to get a legitimate Ugandan, match them with this individual, and those guys are ready to go. So as much as Donald Trump has stopped them from coming, or there's sanctions on those people, Museveni's government has affixed a Rwandese individual to the passport office of Uganda to print and mass print passports and hand them to those people. We're going to find them all over the world. And that's a big problem. That is why Ugandans are complaining about this guy particularly being appointed to that office. It is dangerous. It's unacceptable. But then again, that is their group. They're all the same people. I tell you, Uganda, if we don't do something as a people, no matter what we do for small things, the bigger umbrella is still there. Ati wachila cho maki keruni ubed NIA ubed minister me internal affairs de. La cho ma aki Rwanda. Okay? La cho ni enu ni awachi office enu beri wa jokon me loboko. Chiman tie jo me lobo Rwanda kunyoni tie dar mo ma ki ngolo passport gi o pegro mo wor lobo mo ke ken kiloni sanction aki kere kom gi me jo ma aki Rwanda pi bal ma ko per ka timone metero M23 nge M23 ber pa Museveni gene Kagame Johnny ne gi chere Congo ka cha gi tor dan gi wano dan gi mero mano kama kiloni Kivu ni pien Kivu ber kama lo telo bo duo deda ento kori diwi jo Rwanda enini gimete gimaje mi wa maya pegi par bene chiman gudonyo kamano en jami me tengo me gimete gi nguntung Congo enu dok megi kita kamano geri Uganda ni gitika lwenyi Congo bene chi President Trump Donald J Trump me America wachi gun pamiero tim gine enne magu kero chingi Kagame kero chinye gen ke president me Congo makiloni Tshisekedi guye ni lwende obeberu pe ento te Kagame duguli pap odoka lwen kuperi chani joni futi kunu ma video tie manyuruge chi jo ma Paul ma aki Rwanda Donald president me America ongwalu nyingi yoko ki embassy ukeru style nyingi ni premier gukar woko mechere lobo ma woko premier pe lobo mo ke ken mati Western America UK Europe Canada premier oye joni ene ingeyo ka kero blacklist kumeno we lo mu ken no poko ki lo mu ken we gen no guye no konyo ki tij me kwedo ta lo mu ken ni gen no ye ta America wayu jo ken we ndo following karaman enjo mano ki ngolo passport gi on yo ki kero sanctuary wi gini ne non kita ki kelo kere jale ni me beru la dit nyo red office enini passport don ki bi chera chalu jo mati gene certificate make you mati fake make you ki nakasero ne passport don ki bi you ki jo par jo ma ai Rwanda madua ta manyin jo Uganda mo kene don ki bi raba dob don ki ker mere I passport ki mini gi in my chair my Uganda my tiki nin number nyo tiki visa ni don ki kwanyo ko ki wi ki keri wi ngat en ma ki Rwanda ni en chera inde ikor passport don kwe pedugu pede bi no passport jo mo go no passport no ki kero bali wigi pien joni ngi yo me keto ne no ki kero bali wi tere o kamane ki tuk makali ruet pe ramu wa kwero gen bal money ni pien in pe ngi ki no gen guti me kere chera buch dok passport don go be yubu passport kono laten ma ke nywalo kono laten ma ki bi nywalo kono muje money ni kora nga Jemmy Weng mano ki mi pi Uganda chalo basari me word me gang kwan ki ngongo Weng dong cherbo Rwanda pien passport dong tiewe passport dong ki yubu kita juini en Johnny ana tiki nin number wu Johnny ana tiki ID number wu urungeni office panera tiwa Rwanda office pa national ID of Uganda is in Rwanda. Did you know that? Which means all national IDs of Ugandans are made in Rwanda. What a convenience that this whole country owns all of this now. Passport office could potentially be moved to Rwanda and stationed in Rwanda. That means they are going to print passports for all Rwandese. They will all have passports, a Ugandan passport and a Rwandese passport. If the Rwandese doesn't work, they go to the embassy and they don't get a visa, they will apply again with the Ugandan passport and try to get that as well. They are going to do all manner of things. They are going to expedite passports or IDs or national IDs for all Rwandese now. Ugandans, you're going to wait in line for the longest ever. Longest. You will wait in line and maybe never get an ID because your name has already been given to some Rwandese idiot. Do you see the problem? It is not just the idea of this Rwandese person being in this position. It is the endless possibilities they have with this position. Beru pajali me beru minister no ram beru minister gimai kana igomero. Ento kwanyum darma aki Rwanda make to name beru minister I office enini. Roma dongo poko Uganda yedge. Roma poko Uganda yedge. Dongo bete meketa igomero. Makina mukana no pobe choke. Ento amiru wachi jami mogu matino mawa roma timoneni. Omiero watim mekwatu Johnny ogoki kinwa pien tie kari wa nem chalo anyway. Put it anyway. No ti yo mo kana wang piera bit mano gitiki yo mete mo jome mo kane. Now, enemy rachi. Eni twelve be rach kenti wang wako beti chawani. Ento di mo kana matia mete. La boy wan ngero ne. Ka wa ngero gerana kera logo ye. Ento mapewa ti ngene na gena di. Wa yabu wangwa. Johnny Paramu tiako waka ya da pien kanene tiako watie uno ruba yubu Uganda beru Rwanda kanoni gini miero bet kuman ento peda gino weko ruba opogoni en ngeyu dok Uganda bodong pe wan Uganda pobe beru Rwanda no gitika timo jami weng ento pegiramu weko Uganda beru Rwanda pien kita ruba yubu kere enu beru kumeno. So no matter what they do, they cannot absolutely make Uganda Rwanda. No way. It is God's intention that these two borders are separate. And they're two different people. One evil and one loving and lovely. There is no way. But we must do something. God helps those who help themselves. I used to know that. We must do something to stop the little that we know and see. Don't give these people breathing space anymore. We're not doing that. No. Whatever we know, we're going to speak about and get it where it needs to go. Absolutely. This struggle is not going to end. It must continue, and we are going to put every effort there is to get it to the finish line. To a new Uganda. It's coming. And we will get there. Because if it wasn't intended that way, we wouldn't be here. But we must work. And this is part of it. Let us do whatever we can. Speak about whatever there is that they're doing out there. Let me highlight on a few things that Oboth has already been assigned to do. Atike jami mogoma list me check your bills ma Oboth kimi machalo teach nimniero. O work in any bill egini o karo parliament. Kono bete mening bill enini egini we wang magu karo. When we upo bill na sovereignty bill. Dana ma uketa bill eni Anita among Okeloriem ki MPs mogo ki ministers mogo ma pol. Munu neno ni bill eni gumir ni ukat ki nying Georgia ni we madonge bayo gi oni we. Manuti sanction ga dirmaya bino oba pori ko manga ukelo riem pien ko bedi chawani kari ni dong pay office sanction pudromu gudune pien ti recorded I bill chani ma bill ene dong wano wake report o UN ki kwene ni makun matete gini bill ni diu dano jami gera waru mod ento obe o sanction obe o. I was alluding to the fact that, did you see how much they rushed the sovereignty bill so that Anita Among would be the one to pass that bill, registered as the member of parliament or the Speaker of Parliament and a member of Parliament. Okello Oryem, minister at the time, is the one who is listed on that bill, which Museveni wanted to pass, which he wanted to pass within the last 15 days of the term. That bill did not go through all the cycles it needed to because they wanted the outgoing names to be on that bill. So when the sanctions come, it won't be Tayewa. It will be Anita Among, Okello Oryem, and so on and so forth, which he has already kicked out of his space. Most of the people who are party to some of the dirt that was done, like the sovereignty bill, are no longer on Museveni. He has shaken them off. And the rest who are still hanging on, he doesn't care what happens to them. But imagine a sanction on some of these ministers who are coming up, use and dump. They use and dump. And it's time to get rid of those. But listen to what Oboth's new assignments are. And if he passes these, they will discard him. Amiru wachiwu o Museveni gu or kero Oboth ni teacher eni ni obot miero tim miere nen ni karo bila para beach eni ni wengu dogo chik I Uganda inge mwaka beach eni ma anti speaker ni makuni nena ni obot tika watchero en kamani tati ieni waka kwani wo bills ne bill me achel waju ni parliament ena ye obebi yero speaker manong no lumu e parliament manyen ko president kibiyero e parliament dong eneno ni ngom weng me Uganda obedoko pagamente mier dong ki ker chek ba border law for passengers to make entry that's it ni dano matika donyi Uganda kai donyi Uganda ki Kenya miere dok kitung Kenya peda ka chere katitung Rwanda mono ke luoni check ne border law ni ka ngaro mono donyo ki Kenya I border me donyo Uganda o miero dok kitung kunu peda ko chet kamo kerne po chet tung Sudan nyo po chet kamo kerne trade law ni check me gene check me chat will me business eni obos miero neni e caro bile eni bene church law payment tax ni on lega weng dong ubu chulo muchoro oba onyo muchoro chene ma unu tere kanisa e chencha bete mukene miera ke tong ke chul muchoro bodgamente wunjo ma uchere gene I betting check do buberu tie ma check mano kwa lok me betting gaming regulation laws check me gangkwani kita nena wachi wuni gangkwan pa jo mano ti mano tie annually ma Uganda ni mier ke to business gyogo wek lu jo lu ten kwan wengu cheri gangkwani pa jo ma aki Rwanda pien ku berichani ku yubo dok ku welo gangkwani ma pol en kimino gi lon kimi lon I jeo gangkwan kitero gangkwani go dok megi check mo kene marriage amendment law man check menyom I Uganda man ini pian Rwanda sika nyome ki jo Uganda maduwa de da man dong nen jalo ki miro mini ki ngo kaka poke ki kaka Uganda diki maya wabi cheri detail parties and burial law check me ka choke me gore me timu party nyo yip gore ma dodoni dong Museveni pe merba pian luo ni koni daro ka wigu baleki ka choka mani gram tor ka mente ako mukene puti bieno ti yo ento bot miero kat chira di a beach mamu kene en fut pi angeyoni manyuti bot tero tiche ni li pap no romo cha me kwanyu kone ro nyo me kwanyu ne ro office. I'm going to explain to you the 5 bills that they have already given Oboth assignments to that he must pass in these 5 years that he's in Speaker of Parliament. That is if he lasts the 5 years. Let's say he expedites all of these and they go through within 3 years, it'll be time to dump him or dispense him. So one of the first laws is that the president will be elected in Parliament. So none of other Ugandans of common will be eligible to vote for their own president. All presidents will be elected in Parliament, which means because NRM is majority, the future presidents will all have to come from Museveni's decisions and family. Basically, Parliament to vote for speaker, that's the other law. Land to become for government, that's the other law. Border law for passengers to make entry from the same border as they exit. So if you come in from the Kenya border into Uganda, you must leave the same way and not through another border. Okay? Trade law. They're going to change some trade laws. As these develop, I will share with you and we'll discuss them into detail. Church laws of payment of taxes. All churches are going to pay taxes from the tithe they collect from people. Gaming regulatory laws. They're going to set up laws about and surrounding gaming. Possibly gaming wins are going to be taxed from now on. School regulations. As I said, they want to take school ownerships from Ugandans to Rwandese people because they have already have their schools set with all amenities that now they want to start collecting money from those schools. So Ugandan business owners like Little Moheju, the school called Little Moheju is wanted by Museveni and his family. And they're going to kill both directors, husband and wife. The owners of the home in Nansana is surveilling them at the slope near their home. Anybody who knows the owners, the director, husband and wife of Little Moheju, there are spies in the home in Nansana down the slope. From their home in Nansana. Somebody is surveilling their home from the slopes there and giving all the information. And they've noted that their home has lots of acres, like 8 acres of land. And so this is supposed to be happening. Museveni's family wants Little Moheju's school and the land that they own where their home sits. So next time you hear of their